What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Tacho here, and we're back for some more Fire Emblem Heroes. Now today in the bulletin board, we actually got the update for the upcoming Hall of Forms, which is going to be Sacred Stones themed. Now we actually knew about this beforehand from the summer banner data mine that we got, because it actually included the units that we were going to get here. But I like waiting for the official announcement for these things to actually cover them. So our units for this round of Hall of Forms are going to be Summer Tana and Summer Innies, and Winter Ephraim and Winter Erika. So very interesting that all of these are seasonal banner units this time around. Normally when they give us a Hall of Forms, they like to throw in a Tempest Trial option for us, and the Tempest Trial options are real nice, especially if you want to pick them up with the Forma Soul. Because, of course, those units don't have IVs, and when you pick up a unit with the Forma Soul, they're not going to have IVs anyway, so you may as well just cut your losses there if you're trying to min-max and you plan to go for the plus 10 on them in the future. It's just really nice to not have to worry about IVs with them. So a little unfortunate that we didn't get one this time. I was thinking it might have been either Marissa or Joshua, but they were just like, nah, you guys can have a whole bunch of these seasonal banner units instead. And that is a little unfortunate, because these guys do actually care about IVs, and not having IVs for them is going to be a bit of a downside. But regardless of all that, these are some pretty cool units, and we do have some pretty cool stuff here if you want to pick one of them up with the Forma Soul. Now, the Forma Soul, of course, costs $30, so it's not going to be for everyone. And if you're free to play, you probably just don't even care. But for the people that do like to spend money on the game, the Forma Soul pack is actually the best orb to money ratio that you can buy in the shop, because it only costs $30 and you're getting 60 orbs, and all the other orb packs in the shop cost a little bit more money for the amount of orbs that you're getting. So by that point, you're just paying for the orbs and you get the Forma Soul as a throw-in. So for the people like me that don't mind buying orbs every now and then, the Forma Soul pack is very nice for that. So that being said, which one of these units are you actually going to want to choose with your Forma Soul? Now, I think that one is actually going to be up for debate, because there are some really cool options here. Now, first of all, Winter Erika is the only armored staff unit in the entire game, so I think that alone gives her the most merit, and probably going to be the most unique of the choices you could go for here. But I think Summer Tana is actually not far behind. She is another fantastic unit, of course, and I use her literally all the time in basically every single mode. These flying tome units are so outrageous. It's real easy to get them to +6 to all stats with Hone Flyers and Fortify Flyers, and then just wreck shop with the Blade Tome. So I do have a preference for player phasing with these tome flying units. So I would say Tana is just a small bit behind Erika, only because Erika is the only unit of her type. And then I think in third place, I would say it's Winter Ephraim. I also use him all the time in Mjolnir's Strike. All you gotta do is put him on the top row, give him Gale Force, give him Bold Fighter, and then he's gonna be able to attack the foes on the top without them having the chance to counterattack him. And he can just easily ramp into Gale Force and go to town by destroying everyone on the top row. So he's really nice in that mode. And in last place, I think Summer Innies is definitely the worst unit out of this bunch. I have him, and I literally just never even use him. I've never even considered using him. Like, that just goes to show how not too useful he is. And he doesn't even compete with the Kid Minerva that we got as a Tempest Trial unit. I feel like she's just way better as a melee axe flyer that you could go for. So, unfortunately, our boy Innies is in last place here. So, we're actually going to go ahead and take a look at some builds for all of these units and possible skills you may want to pick up on them in Hall of Forms if you're planning to pick up one of these guys. So, we're going to start things off with the Winter Erika, since I do think she is, by a small margin over Tana, the best option here. So, of course, the nice thing about these Forma Soul units is that you're free to build them however you want and pick up whatever skills you want. So, that being the case, you always want to go for the hardest skills to get. That doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be keeping those skills on the finalized build after you pick them up with the Forma Soul, but it does mean that you're getting those skills in the pocket. So, in the event that you need one of those skills in the future, you just already have access to it. So we can already see a little bit of that going on with this Erika build that you see. I'm going for Wind Firebomb Plus as the special, which normally on staff units you just want to go for Miracle. And that's even more so the case with this Erika, because being the only armored staff unit, she has access to Bold Fighter. So it's real easy for her to just ramp into Miracle by attacking the foes twice with Bold Fighter and ramping right into it. But the thing about Miracle is that it's real easy to come by. I mean, you just have to sacrifice a 4-star Lucius or a 4-star Maria, and bam, you just got Miracle right there. So Wind Firebomb Plus is a bit harder to come by. You could also go for Earth Water Bomb Plus if you want. That one gives defense and res up 6, while Wind Firebomb gives speed and attack up 6. And for the weapon, of course, you're going to want to go for one of the seasonal locked staffs. I'm going for Witchy Wand Plus here, but Melancholy actually does the exact same thing, so either one doesn't matter. I just think you get a little more style points for Witchy Wand Plus, because Witchy Wand is actually a seasonal locked weapon, while Melancholy is not. And you could also go for Grand Scratcher Plus if you wanted that. It gives -1 special cooldown count to the ally with the highest attack at the start of turn 1. So pretty nice for infantry pulse type setups, and you could easily just run this Erika on a Aether Raids defense team with Grand Scratcher, and she's going to be able to support really easily with that. And for the A slot, we're going with Close Foil. Of course, Close Foil is really nice for tanky units to have, and this Erika has really nice defense and res, so Close Foil is going to do her some pretty nice favors there. The only units that are going to be able to attack her without getting counter hit are dragon types, and that's a calculated loss, so not the biggest deal. The +5 attack and defense she's going to be getting is going to more than make up for that. And we have threat and attack and res on the C slot skill here, so you can debuff the foes and just gain some attack and res on Erika. And it's going to be real easy to just throw her up at the foes and have her just completely make a mockery out of them. She's just going to be tanking like a monster. So really cool stuff here. Of course, you could also go for the Razzle Dazzle combo on these staff units if you want. But I do think Bold Fighter on this Erika is pretty clutch with Miracles, so that is what we're going for. Alright, so in second place out of these Forma units, I think it's Tana. And to be completely honest with you guys, I think Tana is just slightly better than Erika. The only thing, of course, is that Erika is the only armored staff, so she does have a little more incentive in that regard. And in the case of Tana being a flying red tome, a lot of people already built up Aversa because she's so unique with her perf weapon. And statistically, Aversa and Tana are really not all that different. Tana only has 2 more points of speed than Aversa, but that being said, Aversa is way easier to get the +10 on. So in terms of availability, Aversa is just way better. And pretty much any build you could run on this Tana, you could just go ahead and build on the Aversa as well. But it's still pretty nice that you can build up a free Tana in Hall of Forms and get her with exactly the skills you want. So for the weapon, we're going with Router Fox Plus. The only way to get that right now is by sacrificing a 5-star Hubert. And of course, you really just want to run the Blade Tome on her, but the Blade Tome is so easy to get that I would say just hold off on that until you pick her up with the Forma Soul if you want. For the assist, we're going with Rally Up Res. Now, you could go for Rally Up Attack if you wanted, but if you're going to be running her on an Aether Raids defense setup and you want her to be part of a Rally Trap, I feel like Rally Up Res is a little more consistent. Because in the case that your units are getting panicked, then Rally Up Res is not going to lower their attack. So it's a little bit more clutch to have Rally Up Res, I think. Ruptured Sky as the special, of course, because it's the hardest one to get. And honestly, it's her second best option behind Glimmer, because, of course, Glimmer just goes through the roof once you have the Blades Home with max buffs. But Ruptured Sky, if you don't want to run the Blades Home for some reason, is actually going to be her go-to special, so definitely a good thing to pick up there. For the A skill, we're going with Sturdy Impact. It's just going to add a ton of bulk to her and also prevent the foe's follow-up. So it makes it more likely that she's going to survive the hit. And of course, in Aether Raids defense, if you run her on a defense setup, that's just going to be super clutch. Even more so based on the fact that she's a red tome, because you could easily just pass the Hardy Bearing Seal on her. And then she's going to tear Brave Ike apart with the ability to go through his damage reduction. So definitely pretty cool there. And next up in the B slot, we finally got a really good B slot option for these flying units. the snag skills that we got on the recent summer banner is inheritable by flying units, so whenever they use a positioning assist skill like reposition or smite or shove or drawback or so on and so forth, they're going to be inflicting the 2 stats that you see here, -6, on the nearest foes within 4 spaces. So a really nice debuffing skill for these flying units. Of course, flying units were shafted in the B slot for the longest time. They couldn't have lull skills and they couldn't have ruse skills. So it's nice that they finally got a B slot skill that they can run. And for the C slot on this Tana, I think joint drive speed is probably the way to go. A joint drive attack could work out just fine too. It's just going to be whichever one you prefer. But being a flying unit, of course, Tana has tons and tons of options in the C slot that are not really easy to come by. Guidance is still pretty good if you want to set up a classic rally trap and have a unit jump to her. You could also run ground orders if you want to have her set up a rally trap and let one of your other units jump to someone else. And if you wanted her to be a little more offensive, then Panic Smoke, of course, is an option too, so she can debuff the foes when she hits them. So you do have quite a bit of options for Tana here, and these are just a couple of examples. But Tana is going to be fantastic in basically every mode you want to run her in, so I do think she is a solid option if you wanted to pick her up with the Forma Soul. Okay, so next unit is going to be Ephraim, and to be honest, like, this guy, his base kit is super good anyway, so there's really not much you need to do to this guy, but when you pick him up with the Forma Soul, he is going to immediately have access to his perf weapon anyway, so just to have another option under your belt, I think it's a good idea to pick up its Curtains. It's really the only other inheritable lance that might give you something that Festive Siegman does not, because that weapon is just so stacked. It does -1 special trigger and then all stats up 4 for him. So its Curtains with the instant -2 special cooldown count, I think, is the only other thing that would compete with Festive Siegman. Harsh Command Plus as the assist. I like having Harsh Command on these armored units, actually. Once again, we're going with Ruptured Sky because it's the hardest special to come by. Distant Counter in the A slot. You could go for Distant Ward or Distant Foil, I guess, if you wanted, but those skills are not in the same boat as Close Foil, unfortunately, because, of course, there is a big split between daggers and bows and magic and staff. So Distant Counter, giving you the counter attack on all of them, I think, is still the best way to go. Bold Fighter, of course. Now, if you pick him up with the Forma Soul, he is going to keep his perf, but he's not going to keep any other skills that he may have come with in his base kit. So you definitely want to pick up Bold Fighter for this guy. And finally, Armored Stride as the C-slot skill. You could go for Armor March as well if you want, but Armored Stride, of course, activating whenever he's not adjacent to an ally is going to be the way to go. And Festive Siegman does not want him to be adjacent to any allies anyway. So these two skills do have some nice little synergy there. And finally, for Summer Innies, if you want to build this guy, these are just a couple of skill options you could go for. Fire Sweep Axe is still only 5-star locked on Jerick, so you probably want to pick that up if you want to pick this guy with your Forma Soul. Rally Up Res, like I explained on Tana, I think it's a little bit better than Rally Up Attack for rally traps. Ruptured Sky once again. Swift Sparrow 3 because this guy is not going to have an enemy phase at all with Fire Sweep Axe, so you only need the stats when he's going to be initiating combat. Speed and Defense Snag, which is the opposite of Speed and Res Snag that we saw on Tana. And it's just going to help him and his allies deal some more damage if you use Reposition, so pretty good stuff there. And Joint Drive Attack as the C skill, because you're just going to be gaining attack and giving your allies attack too. So the Joint Drive skill is always going to be good options to go for. You could also go for Panic Smoke, though, on this guy if you wanted. So just another option to think about. And that just about covers us for all of these Forma Soul options and some of the best skills you could pick up on these guys. So just as a final recap, I think Winter Erika is probably in first place, followed very closely by Summer Tana, with Winter Ephraim in third and Summer Innies in last place. So definitely let me know in the comment section, guys, which one of these Forma Soul units you think is the best. And if you're planning to pick one of them up with the Forma Soul, let me know which one it's going to be. I'm interested to see what you guys think about this. So as always, this is your boy Tacho signing out. So take care, y'all, and I'll catch you guys again on the flip side.